Do-Rag Wisdom here, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Y2K 20.10.27. Just 7 days until the election. Final arguments, part 3. Thugbullyocracy or democracy? Fake Senate impeachment trial, no vindication, no adjudication, no exoneration, repeat. And what's happening with the Supreme Court now is an absolute totalitarian disgrace. Treason. The music you hear in the background is by Danny Elfman. Good Will Hunting. I'm sorry to say how vividly I remember the bullies, the thugs. I remember all of them. The ones who abused me physically and the ones who abused me mentally. And the ones who did both. I am sad that at the age of 7, I wanted to murder the bullies of the schoolyard. I am glad that I never acted on my dark fantasies, because human life has value and no one has the right to take a life. But while we live, we have the right to do it in dignity and in respect, without the threat of humiliation and violence. Bullies, it turns out, have plagued my entire life. And I suppose that is a part of living among fellow humans, naked apes most. Bullies exist in the schoolyard, in the teacher of a class, a mean teacher, inside the workplace, and also, and tragically, inside a home. With the accidental and negligent on the part of those who did not vote in Y2K16, election of a sociopathic tyrant to the highest office of our land, because we watched too many reality show television crap and defying dignity down, we have allowed thugs and bullies to rule us. We allowed a sociopathic, racist hate-monger named Donald Trump to be the architect of perhaps the destruction of our fragile, democratic, constitutional republic. Do we want another 4 years of Trump thug bullyocracy? Or do we desire a return to our road to democracy? The night that I learned that Trump and Stuppen won the election 4 years ago, two things came into my head. The Supreme Court is going to be destroyed, and we have allowed a totalitarian bully into our presidency. 4 destructive years later, on the corpses of more than 225,000 lives in the USA from CV-19, and 4,000 lives lost in Puerto Rico due to Hurricane Trump Maria, and the thousands of children traumatized and ruined for life at our southern border due to the Trump bullying Nazi immigration tactics. Have we finally learned to be responsible, to be truly woke, to understand that to vote or not to vote has consequences? I have PTSD from my dealings with bullies, including my own father. So when Trump was elected, I went naked ape shit. I recognized early on that Trump was a vile bully because, living as I do in New York City since 1974, I've known exactly the kind of fiend the country defecated into our lives. And I truly feel fear that there are enough misguided, pathetic schleppers in our country out there who will crave for more of the same. I will not be able to relax until I know for certain that the evil creep from 5th Avenue by way of Queens will finally be eradicated, and even if then, if the Cheeto is finally defeated, I can't even relax until he is officially frog-walked out of the White House grounds. There is so much damage Trump can still do between his hope for defeat at the end of election season till Inauguration Day. More of that later. People have to understand and be reviled by rule of thug, rule of bully. That rule has given us sounds and images that I will never forget nor ever forgive for what remains of my life. Pre-thug bully rule. 1. Mexicans are branded as rapists and murderers. 2. A black man is punched in the back of the head during a Trump campaign rally by a cowboy hat wearing coward. 3. Black woman is surrounded by a white mob at another Trump campaign rally. I see her being pushed, violently pushed back and forth between the bully thugs that surround her. She's putting her hands out. Never forget that. 4. Trump bragging that he could grab women by their genitals. 5. Trump bragging about the size of his putts because he is ashamed of his having small hands. I wish this was in 3D. Yeah, folks. Small little hands. Post-election Trump Thugbullyocracy. 1. Images, sounds. Trump neo-Nazi followers are seen in the news saying, "Sieg Heil to Trump." Saw it on MSNBC. 2. Trump calls Nazis on the other side in Charlottesville nice people too. 3. With the election of the thug, the bully to our White House, abuse of children has become acceptable, especially those at our southern border, locked in cages, and those criminally and permanently separated from their parents by Trump thug bully tactics. Aren't we all disgusted by the Stephen Millers, the Chad Wolves, and the disgusting William Barrs? Aren't we sick and tired of the images of this dysfunctional, dangerous family running our country into muck? 4. The image of George Floyd dying under the knee of a bully in the guise of the police. Even more black lives lost because to white racists, black lives will never matter. This is one of the wars we're fighting in this country, folks. Racism. It's alive and well. And if you don't know this after 4 years of having a white supremacist in our White House, I feel really sorry for you. 5. Worshippers, Jewish and black, separate places of worship, and massacred by racist and anti-Semitic thugs. That's blood on that little fingers, the little fingers. 6. The Kurds told to go and F themselves. 7. The natural beauty of our planet, with its magnificent and variant life forms under attack over and over again to be replaced by polluted wastelands. 8. Endangered species under attack. Animal experimentation and abuse supported. 9. A Trump-supporting bully and thug named Kyle Rittenhouse murdering 2 people on camera. 10. Gun-toting thugs and bullies invade the Michigan State House and threaten those who would dare make them wear masks and who would dare fight against a virus that is murdering us all. Later, members of this bunch hatched a plot to kidnap the governor of Michigan, try her, and then execute her. All with the tacit approval of the hate-monger bully in chief. 11. Images of besieged doctors and health care professionals, workers pleading for help and weeping for people who have had to die alone during this pandemic. 12. A president of the USA replacing a qualified healthcare professional, Dr. Fauci, for a quack, a Fox News sycophant named Quack Atlas, to be his spokesperson to protect us from the virus by telling us to allow the virus to kill us through so-called herd immunity. Moo! Moo! Murder 225,000 dead by the pandemic so far. And if the bully and his thugs are reelected, That number will double by springtime for Hitler. Apologies to Mel Brooks. 13. Food lines and images of desperate people out of business, out of work. Thugs and bullies prey on the helpless, the clueless, the misguided. They want nothing but power. That's the bottom line. That's why what you see the Republican Party doing, shoving through this bastard to the Supreme Court. And that's what you learn when you read 1984. And that's what character Winston Smith learns from his torturer, O'Brien, in the Ministry of Love. Why do they do it? They want that poot stamping on a human face forever. Power. That's all it's all about. Power is all these creeps in the Trumpist party want, and they must be voted out. Instead, we must vote, hopefully, for the Biden-Harris ticket. In part because both of these people, warts and all, understand the destructiveness of bullies and of the thugs who follow them. Both of them, similar to me, understand what it means to deal with and confront and stand up to bullies. The bully Trump and his thugs, if allowed, continue to rule, will decimate every ideal this country is supposed to stand for and instead bring back the dark side, the evil, that is also part of this country's heritage, sadly and tragically so. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will return us to normalcy part 2. Not one of corruption via President Warren Harding, one of cruelty and disrespect, but to one of respect for the dignity of all, and to a respect for our rule of law. To a time when professionals who knew what they were doing were running things. A time when we could enjoy a night out with friends, a path to citizenship, support through college, and the opportunity to camp out under the stars in a protected, pristine wilderness. A chance to have affordable health care with pre-existing conditions protected, children protected. Vote for human and species dignity, please. Reject the Trump Thugbullyocracy. Vote for Joe and Kamala, for democracy in our precious USA. I beg you, please. No more of this. And P.S. Joe, if you're out there and you happen to run into this, and you win, hopefully, by a massive landslide, and we get the Senate back, please, none of this, and please, please stay off of Twitter.